You can find chicken marsala on the menu at almost every Italian-American restaurant. Why? Because people love it. Chicken marsala is really not that complicated. It's simply a chicken and pan sauce dinner that you can make on any busy weeknight because it's quick, quick, quick. First thing we have to do is prepare our chicken. Now I'm going to fillet the chicken breasts instead of just pounding them. If I was to try to pound a chicken breast flat enough for chicken marsala, I'd have to put a lot of elbow work into it. Here's a shortcut. Take a nice sharp long knife and put your chicken breast down on the countertop. I'm going to hold it down with my hand and slice parallel to the cutting board, making 2 thinner chicken breasts or chicken cutlets. Doing this with 2 large chicken breasts will give you enough chicken to feed 2 to 4 people. Now I'm going to wash my hands. Now I'm still going to pound these chicken breasts a little bit to make sure that they're even, but I have half as much work to do. Once I've pounded them down so that they're evenly thick, it's time to dredge them, but we can start preheating our pan now because I want that pan to be super hot when I add the chicken. First thing, season it with salt and pepper. Now we're going to dredge it in a little bit of flour. That flour is going to give us better browning when we put it into our pan. The starches will brown. It'll also give our chicken a great silky texture that will hold on to the sauce at the end of the meal. I'm going to saute this in a mixture of oil and butter. Butter because I want that great flavor, and oil because that will give me a higher smoke point so I can cook at a higher heat. I'm going to add my oil first, then I'm going to add my butter. As soon as that butter has melted, we're going to start adding our chicken. But we don't want to overcrowd the pan, so let's do this in batches. While our first batch is cooking, I'm going to preheat the oven to just the lowest temperature possible. 170 degrees is what most ovens have. That's just going to hold our chicken warm while we do the second batch. We're looking for the chicken at this point to be almost completely cooked through. So give it a touch with your finger. Make sure it's relatively firm to the touch, and then it's time to remove that from the pan. And let's transfer this to our warm oven. Now back to our pan. Let's add a little more oil, and we're going to add our essential ingredient for chicken marsala, which are mushrooms. Now the mushrooms are going to give off some liquid before they really start browning. That's okay, just needs a little patience. We're going to season with a little bit of salt to help that along, and we're going to let that moisture come out, evaporate, and then the browning will begin. Once you have some color on those mushrooms, we're going to add some more flavor. Garlic. Garlic only takes up 30 seconds to a minute to cook, so we've waited until now. We're also going to add some fresh sage chopped up. Toss this around for just a minute more, and then we're going to add our marsala. Now you have 2 choices here. You can go with sweet marsala or you can go with dry marsala. It's really up to you, but most people prefer the sweeter version in this dish. Now when you add your marsala, if you're cooking with a gas flame, you might ignite that marsala. It's okay, don't panic. It's going to boil off and that flame will go out as soon as all the alcohol has disappeared. The marsala should have a couple minutes so that it can reduce and concentrate its flavor. We're going to do the same thing when we add the chicken stock. Add the stock, bring it to a simmer. The chicken stock also needs to reduce by about half, and now it's time just to finish our sauce. So let's turn the heat off. We're going to give it just 10 seconds to cool, and then I'm going to add butter and stir that butter in. The reason we want the heat off is because butter is an emulsion. We don't want that to break in the sauce. We want it just to blend in beautifully. So swirl this in. One final step before that chicken gets in there is we have to season this and taste it first. Wow, that is pretty tasty. A little bit of salt, some black pepper. One more time, swirl it. Now we'll grab our chicken from the oven. We're going to add this back, including all the juices that will come off of that resting plate. And all we're doing now is coating the chicken in the sauce. Now it's time to plate this up. Over a bed of noodles is delicious, maybe some mashed potatoes or some rice. With our sauce finally ready, a little parsley in there to distribute. Pour this over the chicken. Make sure every last drop gets over the chicken. A final little flourish of parsley. Call the family to the table.